Welcome to Kentucky Football Nation. Well, let's preview the last game of the 2025 season. Game 12 will be at the Louisville Cardinals, and that will be on November 29th. So, of course, Jeff Brom is their coach. They were 9-4 last year. So let's talk about last year's game because it wasn't much of a game. They kicked our ass. We pretty much had our bags packed and pretty much had really quit by the time we got to that last game. People just didn't want to be there, and it showed. And we deserved to get our ass kicked. Last year we got beat 41-14. How the hell we scored 14, I don't know. They had 486 yards of total offense, 128 yards passing, 358 yards rushing. They just ran all over us. That's good for 7 yards per play, which is pathetic. Can't beat a high school team doing that. They had 23 first downs to our 13 first downs. So they had 486. We had 328. We had 173 pass, 155 rush. We averaged 5.8 yards a game. Like I said, we only had 13 first downs. Cutter Bowley came in. Well, I think he started the game. He was 0 for 6, and I think he threw a pick 6. He had at least 2 interceptions. We had 3 interceptions. He had at least 1 or 2 of them. I think one was a pick 6. Anyway, I think that's the point last year where we said, hey, you know what? We're going to have to get a quarterback to fill in a gap year for this kid because he was not ready. And it's not his fault. He wasn't ready. The offensive line didn't care. They didn't block. I mean, like I said, nobody wanted to play in that game. So the poor kid didn't get a fair chance at that game anyway. So, like I said, last year's the first year since Stoops has been here that I saw a team just quit on him. And they just quit. And the guys that were going to leave already knew they were going to leave and blah, blah, blah. But anyway, we won't rehash all that. Look, we sucked. We deserve to get our ass kicked. And let's hope we don't do it again this year. So let's talk about this year. We'll go over a few things of Louisville last year. Now this year, Louisville's over/under in wins is 8.5. In the power rankings, we are 35. They are 41. So we're pretty even in the power rankings. So we should be able to not get beat 41-14. I don't care where the game's played. Their schedule, our schedule's 4th SEC, 8th, anywhere from 8 to 12, mostly in the top 10 hardest schedule. They are not even in the top 40 hardest schedule. So 6th hardest schedule in the ACC. They do play Clemson and Florida State, but look, they're going to win a lot of games because they're in that ACC. It's an easier conference. It's not their fault. Okay, Jeff Brom's a good coach. So, I'm sure they will do well, and they'll have a chance to go to the playoffs unless maybe we can give them a little spoiler there at the end. So last year, they were 12th in total offense in the country, which wasn't bad. They averaged 449 yards per game, which is pretty good. 264 passing, 185 rushing. So that's very balanced. 36 points a game. Now, of course, they didn't play Texas, Georgia, but they were good, and they whipped our ass. So 36 points a game. They put 41 on us. Now, the bad news for them last year is their defense was 64th, which is why I think we're beating them in the power rankings again this year. Their defense, not great. They gave up 368 yards a game, 236 pass, 132 rush, and they gave up 24 points a game. So that, I don't know how much they're improved on that. I looked at a couple previews. I don't know about that. But first of all, if you haven't watched, they have a new quarterback, Miller Moss, a transfer from USC. I just posted a Miller Moss highlight video, and we go over Miller Moss. Now, he completed 64% of his passes, so I liked him. I mean, he's a decent quarterback. He's somebody you can work with. He's got a good arm. I mean, he can throw the long ball. He can make all the throws. Now, he had 18 touchdowns, but as I say in the other video, he threw 9 picks. So he will throw a pick. He'll try to force balls. So if we can get him, if he does that, then Louisville, won't be as good. But I think Jeff Brom would probably reel him in a little bit and say, hey, let's not throw 2-1 on touchdowns to interceptions. So yeah, if you haven't watched that video, go back and watch that. On offense, they added some offensive linemen. The big one was Sam Seacrest from Houston. They added Nair Jackson from Florida International, FIU, and Jordan Church from FAU, Florida Atlantic. So they're adding linemen from, like, FIU was awful last year. So hopefully they got their best lineman. FAU, I don't even know who that is. They added 2 tight ends, one from Oklahoma, Davian Mitchell, and Jacob Stewart from San Jose State. So I don't know how good they are. Wide receivers, they definitely are a little thin at wide receiver. They're trying to build that room up, is what they were saying on an ACC channel I watch preview. They picked up Trayshawn, I'm going to say Hansey from San Jose State. So they got another San Jose State player, and Dakari Collins from North Carolina State. So yes, they are rebuilding their wide receivers and tight ends, as you can see. Now on defense, they added 4 defensive backs, one from FIU, one from Purdue, one from Jackson State, and one from Baylor. So, I mean, Baylor, but once again, these schools aren't known for great players unless they pick the best player on their team. Now on defense, they have 12 new defensive players that are defensive linemen and also linebackers. Now, one thing they did to us was they took Kendrick Gilbert, one of our defensive linemen. He didn't have a lot of playing time, but he was a big dude, and we didn't need to lose him, and we definitely didn't need to lose him to Louisville. They did take Jarvis Strickland, the one offensive high school player, 4-star from Paducah Tillman. They took him from us, but then we signed somebody, the guy ranked higher than him. I can't think who we signed, a 4-star from Georgia off the top of my head. We signed somebody ranked just as high, if not higher than he was. So we made up for that loss, but it was not good to lose him to Louisville or anybody else. Portal class. I think we were ranked 10th in portal class. They were ranked 32nd and 6th in the ACC in portal pickups. So yeah. Now Jeff Brom is a good coach. So no, they didn't go all world and pick up all these great players from Big Ten schools and stuff like that. But they're gonna have an easier schedule than we are. By the time we get to the last game, I just don't want to see us quit. And I hope we can go in there and get a win, but we'll see. Should we be scared of them? Absolutely not. Once again, power rankings came out and we're 35th, and now all of a sudden Vanderbilt's not as high as we are. Mississippi State, Louisville. Now some people on our schedule are not as high as we are, and people are starting to back off on their predictions. A lot of people are starting to back off. If you look at the numbers, we might actually win more than 2 games. So yeah, they're starting to up us to maybe 4, maybe 5 or 6. You never know. They don't know, and we don't know. So, but I do know this: Jeff Brom's a good coach, and he will have his team ready to play when they get ready to play us. So that is the Game 12 preview at Louisville on November 29th. Guys, if you're not subscribed and you're watching this, please do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. Trying to get to 500 subscribers by the first game on August 30th. I do have a shorts portion of my channel where I do football shorts of players from the 70s and up to now. And also I do have a basketball section on my channel. So even though it's a football by name channel, we will cover basketball when basketball season starts. And we should be good in basketball. But check out my basketball portion of the channel. Guys, once again, that concludes the season. We previewed all 12 games. If you haven't seen it, go back. You can look at all the 12 opponents that we have. I previewed every one of them. I broke down the stats. I don't know what our record's going to be. We're gonna find out. We'll see what Mark Stoops has in him, because they definitely got him dead and buried. If you haven't seen my funeral video, we did a funeral for Mark Stoops, and we had a little funeral service. You can go back and watch that, because they got him dead and buried and no chance for us to do anything. We have the worst quarterback and the worst team, and you know what? We'll see about that. Once again, thanks for watching.